Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another message from your soul. Let's ask your soul what you need to know right now, what you need to hear right now, what is a message for you. Right, and as always, I want to remind you to check out my Instagram. I am uploading about energy there too. So if you want to learn a little more about energy and want to get additional energy readings, you can definitely check out my Instagram. Let's see what you need to know. Right, okay. Let's see. This card is also coming out a lot. So we all seem to be in a very similar energy these days. So there is definitely the energy of going forward, trying to achieve something, trying to get somewhere, trying to do everything that you can to get where you want to be, comparing yourself with others. Also, I'm getting the emotion of sabotaging yourself because you're not where you want to be yet. And really that, yeah, sabotaging yourself, trying to be someone you're not, trying to make a person out of yourself that you're just not. Yeah, I thought this would come out. Yes. Sabotaging yourself, hurting yourself, telling yourself you're not good enough, telling yourself others don't like you, telling you know, all those things that we tell ourselves when we are not satisfied with our own action, with how we are, with who we are, with how we act, with what we do, with our work even, with everything we are, with how we behave, how we talk. You know, maybe you've experienced that recently too. You talk with someone and after you've talked with them, you were just like, why did I say that? Why did I talk like this? Why was I standing so weird? And this is really, we are always criticizing ourselves, always telling ourselves we are not good enough, or we are not to be okay about how we are. You know what I mean? We are not allowed to be satisfied with who we are. That's kind of the energy. We are telling ourselves all these things. And your soul is definitely recognizing that. Your soul is definitely kind of wanting to make you see what you are doing. The self-sabotaging that we are doing. Our souls definitely want us to just to realize that. And they're telling me yet again, don't be mad about yourself about this, okay? Don't be mad about yourself that you are criticizing yourself, or that you, whatever I'm said here, don't be mad about yourself for doing that, because that's, again, exactly that emotion. You're criticizing yourself for doing that. But your soul doesn't want you to do that. Your soul wants you just to be aware of what you are doing and for you to understand yourself. Because this is definitely something that that you do, that we do to protect ourselves, right? This is something that doesn't come from a place of ignorance, but it comes from a place of, how can I say that? It comes from a place of fear, yes. Right? Because when we say things like that to ourselves, we are not doing it so that we, I don't know why we would be mad about ourselves in the first place for talking about that to us. But we are not doing it for any bad reason, as there are none, but you know what I mean? We are always doing it because we want to protect ourselves, because we fear exactly the things that we do to ourselves, right? Because we and we do it to ourselves, that others won't do it to us, which is kind of true energetically, but not necessary. Not necessary. Your soul is, or that's what I am adding to it, it's not that you should suppress when you want to say things like that. It's not that you should, when thoughts about how you didn't do, how you are not enough come into your mind, it's not about you, that it's not that you should suppress that thought and think something different really quick. No, it's about you looking at that thought and then telling yourself and realizing how absolutely you do not need to think like that. You know what I mean? And always to accept that part about you, to always just take it as it is and be like, okay, maybe I am criticizing myself right now, but I'm not going to criticize myself for that. It's just how it is. And I'm only here as an observer looking at it. And your soul really wants you to see that you are actually, you're kind of not seeing that, but you are trying to push through a wall with so much resistance, like a wall very thick that you cannot push through. It's kind of like that. You're trying to get somewhere where you haven't even built the path, you know, to get there. It's like that. And that's why your soul really wants you to see all this and to recognize it. It has so much to do with just kind of making you aware of this part about yourself, that you are often criticizing yourself. And again, I can already feel how in many of us comes up the emotion of, I don't want to do that anymore. Whenever I do that now, I am going to not feel this way anymore. But that's not how it works. The first step always is to recognize that you do that. And that is the first step, and that is okay. And that is how you can learn to understand why you do that, and you can learn to think differently, or you will automatically think differently. So your soul definitely wants you to be kinder with yourself, as kind as you would be with anyone else. We talked about that in the last video, I believe. Yeah, I'm so sorry if you hear any background noises. Yes, your soul wants you to send yourself some love and acceptance, just as you would with maybe your best friend, right? Maybe you have a best friend who does exactly that to themselves, who's always very self-criticizing and all of that. And how would you deal with that best friend? What would you say to them? Maybe you would go up to them and tell them, no, you're good enough, you're doing great. But with yourself, you're just as them, just as they are with themselves. And your soul is kind of trying to remind you of that, trying to remind you that you are very kind towards others, but sometimes very harsh towards yourself, which is fine too, because it has its reasons, right? But your soul just wants you to maybe bring up some kindness and understanding for every emotion that you feel, and not being kind of hateful towards yourself. Okay? Interesting. The interesting part about that is also that you will then see like a new world, a lot of new possibilities entering your world. It's nearly like you can then truly create your world. You will then truly feel fulfilled, and like you understood, like you are fully yourself and you can fully understand yourself. So if you've been trying to grow confidence or self-love and self-worth and all these things, that's definitely the way to go. To learn, to kind of bring up understanding for your own behavior, for yourself, instead of just always like pushing yourself to be someone you're not, or to be someone else, or to do something that you don't want to do, or all those things, but to rather just recognize that you are doing this right here, right now, is the most important thing, because it's already taking some resistance, and there won't be resistance anymore. Just the awareness of it, right? Just the awareness that you criticize yourself a little bit more than you know of. That you are sabotaging yourself a little bit more than you know of, consciously. And this is holding you back. Like I said, you're trying to get somewhere where there is no path yet. Yes, your soul definitely wants you to recognize that. This is so important for all of us, because it will then open up. It's like it will open up a whole new world for us. And this is definitely also a focus thing. Where do you put your focus on? That's something you can actually do with your conscious mind. You can either focus on the things that are going right, or focus on the things that aren't going right. So you can focus on yourself, on the things that you do not like, or you can focus on the things that you like about yourself. You can always choose which side to focus on, right? And this is also something that you can do when you are truly aware of that you are criticizing yourself a lot. Interesting. Oh, yes. It's kind of like you are actually holding back something about yourself that others can actually profit from. You're trying to conceal something about yourself that others could actually benefit from. You're trying to not be someone who's actually beneficial to the world, right? And I really want all of us to recognize that. And this is not about you always needing to be someone that you love. That is not the goal here. But the goal is to accept and be aware of all the things that you do, of every critic that you give yourself. Just be aware of it. This is important for you, because it will actually, it's kind of, once you learn so much more about yourself, then you will actually kind of release the resistance, and a path, will slowly be made. Yes, a path will slowly be made. Oh, it's interesting. A path will slowly be made. Because the resistance ends. It's like the resistance within yourself will not be projected onto your situations, onto your outside world anymore. And there can actually be a path to success, to where you want to be, to who you are and who you want to be. And this is the same energy kind of, because it's like you will have so much more understanding of the world than yourself. So this is important for you, okay? I'm going to take these away. Really, learn to a lot more about yourself. Just learn, just be an observer. Who am I? That's all. And that's all, yes. And then once you think like, oh, okay, I get myself a little more now, I get that I do criticize myself a lot, then try and start talking yourself up. Giving yourself some nice words that you truly mean, and focus on what you like about yourself from time to time. Not trying to not criticize yourself anymore, but actually just trying to see more of the good sides about yourself, okay? Thank you very much for letting me talk to your soul. Thank you very much for being here till the end. And if you are here till the end, then give this video a thumbs up. I'm actually always truly happy when I see that people like my videos. Thank you very much for listening, and bye bye.